Hello, this is Tony from Yummy Lebanese channel, and today I'm going to show you how to make a very delicious pie, meat pie Tripoli way, which is in Lebanese بعجين طرابلسية. And for the people who are not familiar about Lebanese food, this meat pie is very popular in the city of Tripoli, which is in the north of Lebanon, and this pie is usually sold in pastry or sweet store and not in the regular bakery. Let's get started. First, let's start making the dough. Add half a cup of water into a mixer and a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Whisk one egg and add it to the mixer. Mix in a separate bowl all the dry ingredients and then add them to the mixer. Run the mixer at low speed and start adding the remaining half cup of water gradually. The reason I'm adding that half cup gradually because the total amount of water for any dough recipe might vary slightly. So this way you can control the amount of water that you really need for your dough. Once the dough comes together, keep the mixer going for at least 7 to 8 minutes. Here is a hint on how to know if your dough is done kneading. Try to pull it, and if it doesn't break, then it's ready. If it does break, then keep the mixer going. Lastly, add the ghee and run the mixer for another minute. If you don't have ghee, you can substitute it with butter, but ghee adds a nice flavor to the dough. Once you're done kneading, shape your dough into a ball and let it rest for at least 1 hour. Now I'm going to show you how to make the filling for this pie. We have 1 pound of meat that is cooked as meat filling. See the link in the description below for recipe. But don't mix in roasted pine nuts with the meat, but leave them on the side. And make sure the meat is cooled down for this step. Add 2 tablespoons of tahini and 1/2 tablespoon of pomegranate molasses. This is additional to the 1 tablespoon that I already have from my meat filling recipe. Mix very well and leave it aside. Once your dough is rested, we need to cut it into 50 grams a piece. For the people who don't have a scale at home, I weighted the total dough for you and it's almost 850 grams. So this should make 17 pieces. Cut the dough into 2 pieces and roll each one into long rope. Then cut one into 8 and the other into 9 pieces as I'm showing you here in the video. Shape each piece into a ball and cover them. To stretch the dough, you would need canola oil. And if you want it healthier, then try to use expeller pressed canola oil. Now I'm going to show you different ways how to stretch the dough, so you can choose the one you prefer. For any method you choose, make sure first to press the dough a little bit by hand and then dip it in the oil. For the first pie, I'm going to use the rolling pin first to open the dough and start pulling it from the edges by hand. Try to be careful as it goes thinner, and don't worry if you break it a little bit. Once you have it that thin, then fold it the way how I'm showing you on the video. Grease a baking pan by using a little butter, and that's optional, but butter will make the pie more crispy. And then put your pie on the pan. Make sure to have the seam side down. For the second pie, I am not using a roll pin. Just open the dough first by hand and then start pulling it from the edges. Then fold it the same way. The third method is the fastest, but needs some practice. Hold the dough by your two hands from one side of the dough and put the thumb of your first hand under the corner of the dough. Then lift the dough up and rotate your hands and smack the dough on the counter. Repeat it multiple times and then stretch the edges as I'm showing you here in the video. For the last method, I'm going to use a rolling pin only to stretch the dough. As you roll the dough, pick one edge and keep rolling it and don't let the dough spring back. Repeat the same process around all edges until the dough is thin. Make sure not to press too hard during rolling. I will be honest with you, this is not my favorite method, but I decided to show it so the viewer have different options. Now it's time to put the filling. Take a big spoon of meat and form it into a ball in your hand. Then press it down into your pie and spread it around. This way, you can fix the shape of your pie if you mess up a little bit during folding. Once you have the meat on your pie, then add the pie nuts. Bake it in a preheated oven at 375 Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes. And here is a delicious meat pie Tripoli way on a plate with mint and lemon, fresh from the oven. Hope you like my video. Bon appétit, صحتين.